Well, we have some good news out for millions and millions of people all around the world, not just in the United States. Today I want to break down what the United States and China just agreed to. We're going to talk about the details, but also talk about what is coming up as a result of this trade agreement. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, but the nice thing is this is good news. This is a step in the right direction, both from China, the United States, and for people all around the world. So again, I'm going to break this down in just a moment, but first, before I do, all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates, and now let's begin. So let's get right down to it. Look at this right here. It says the US and China agree to slash tariffs for 90 days in major trade breakthrough. Now, this is just an agreement to pretty much reduce tariffs for 90 days. After the 90 days, hopefully they have a deal done. Keep in mind, a trade agreement takes time. It's not something that's going to take just a couple days. What experts are saying is that this is something that takes months to put together because it's extremely complicated. But look at this right here. I want to read this to you. It says right here, the trade agreement means that reciprocal tariffs between both countries will be cut from 125% to 10%. The United States' 20% duties on Chinese imports relating to fentanyl will remain in place, meaning tariff totals on China stand at 30%. Now, this is good, but this is also the base. Okay, let me read this to you. It says right here, we had very productive talks, and I believe that the venue here in Lake Geneva added great equanimity to what was a very positive process. It says we have reached an agreement on a 90-day pause and substantially moved down the tariff levels. Both sides on the reciprocal tariffs will move their tariffs down 115%. The pause will begin Wednesday. That's big. So the pause is on the table. It is going to happen on Wednesday. So that means we have a couple of days where if people start buying, stores are buying, whatever it may be, well, you're going to pay the 145%. This also brings up the question, what do people do? Do they get the inventory today or do they wait a couple days? Well, this is also why ports are saying that they are busy. They are packed because there are so many containers at the ports just waiting to be received. Companies don't want to receive them until the tariffs are lower. So on Wednesday, that is, according to reports, when everybody's going to go and get their inventory. So they'll be busy. Now, here's what you need to understand though. There is still pressure that after the 90 days, tariffs could balloon up to, again, 145%. Now, the expectation is they are going to be able to work out a deal, get something done and signed before that date. Just look at this right here. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says he's likely to meet with China again in the next few weeks to work on a bigger agreement. That's the key. Bigger agreement. Now, I want to just read you the key facts. Actually, let's read a little bit more of this article right here. It says from Bessent, I would imagine in the next few weeks, we will be meeting again to get rolling on a more fulsome agreement. The exact details of the meeting, such as location, have not been chosen or not been set yet, but there is now a mechanism for further talks, according to Scott Bessent. It says what we have with the Chinese is a mechanism to avoid upward tariff pressure. That's the key. Okay? Avoid the upward pressure. The talks have to continue. Now, what does this mean for you and I here in the United States? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Prices are not going to go up as high. Now, I said this from the beginning. For people that have been listening for or to watching my channel for the past month or two, I said this, that President Trump has a negotiating style that is, it's very simple. Okay, there's nothing really special to it in the as from what we've seen, is he goes out and again, when you have power, when you have leverage, you can do this. So the United States has leverage. So coming out and saying we're going to impose 145% tariff on China was big. China went to 125%, but the United States has a 25% tariff because of fentanyl. So that put us at 145%. President Trump had he wasn't planning on a 145% tariff. What he was initially proposing was a 34% tariff. Plus 20%, what took him to 54%. I said this I think last week, maybe over the weekend, is that it's likely the tariffs settle between 30 and 80%. And I said it's most likely going to be about 50%. The reason why is simple. President Trump knows that he needs to impose tariffs on China, or else a lot of the stuff that he wants to do would fall apart. President Trump wants to move away from things like federal income taxes. We can't really do that with 10% tariffs. We can do that with like 50 to 80% tariffs because according to economists, we need to charge a 100% tariff on all countries, on all imports, or else we would not be able to replace taxes from the IRS with tariffs from the External Revenue Service. So that's where we're at. I do want to show you something else, though. This is actually pretty big news. Trump vows to cut U.S. drug prices, drags pharma stocks down. I want to read you what President Trump said. It says right here, over the weekend, Trump vowed to sign an executive order in Washington to institute what he called a most favored nation policy, mandating that Americans pay no more than people in countries that have the lowest price and promising a 30 to 80% cut in drug prices. Now, says while he didn't provide details on how the plan would be implemented, investors grappled with the potential implications for the world's largest pharmaceutical market. So, here's what I can tell you. President Trump is doing what he said. He's going to impose tariffs. He's going to bring jobs back to the United States. Now, here's the interesting thing. By bringing jobs back to the United States, will a 30% tariff do enough to bring people back to the U.S.? The answer is no. It will not. Now, the reason for this is simple. Think about some of the products that we get from China. Okay, think about like little knickknacks and trinkets and whatever you may have. It costs much less to buy the product from China than it does in the United States. Let's say we spend $1 on a little wooden box, right? Little wooden box, little thing you stick on a shelf, right? Let's say it costs $1 from China. That same box, what if it costs $2.50 in the United States? Not a big deal, right? It's only $1.50. But think about this. Now the United States imposed a 30% tariff on China. Well, that dollar box now costs $1.30. That box from the United States, again, $2.50. Which one would you rather buy if you're trying to save money? Still the item from China. It just makes more sense because it only went up 30 cents, even though the price in the United States didn't change. So this isn't a way to actually get more businesses here in the United States. This is just a way to pretty much stop all the panic buying, the frantic people, the talks of inflation. That's all it's doing. So essentially what President Trump wanted to do doesn't actually happen by taking tariffs back to 10%. So we'll see what happens, but as of right now, it's good news for the American people. Good news for millions of people all around the world because prices are going to be more steady. They're going to be stable at 30%. So we'll see what happens, but the United States and China have agreed on this somewhat trade deal, but now they got to put the bigger picture into place. They have to negotiate the bigger agreement. That's something that's going to happen hopefully in the next few weeks. And as we get more information on that, I promise I will bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we get them. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.